Hello, and welcome to Inside the Virtual Village, where I, Kelly Austin, help higher educators who teach online create dynamic learning communities within their courses. I am so glad that you are here to join me today for my topic Teamwork Must Be Experienced to Be Developed. How many of you have interviewed for a job and they told you you didn't have enough experience? I haven't experienced that personally, but I've heard people say, I had to have experience to get the job, but I can't get experience if I've never had experience. Well, in today's blog post, I want to talk to you about teamwork and how important it is for our college students to master the art of collaboration. Now, collaboration is something that is very important in today's marketplace. We no longer work in factories, where we're not an industrial society. We still have factories, but we're not an industrial society where, you're just responsible for doing this part of the process and you pass it on down to the next person to do their part, or you push it through the machine and it comes out. Now, if you really think about it, even in the industrial age, that was a component of teamwork, or teamwork was in place because each person in the factory had a part to play in making sure that product came into development. But when we think about collaboration today, we think of it as a soft skill where students are having to interact with each other and students are having to communicate and problem solve together. And so LinkedIn released a report entitled The Most In-Demand Hard and Soft Skills of 2020, and collaboration was number 3 on the list of soft skills that companies need most. But what does it really mean to collaborate? Now, Merriam-Webster says it means working jointly with others or together, especially in an intellectual endeavor. But many companies might say that collaboration is any activity in which members of an organization come together to work toward a common goal or set of goals. They would call that teamwork as well. Now, if collaboration or teamwork is such a valuable and necessary skill in the marketplace, how do we help college students master the art of collaboration? It is only through the assignment of meaningful group projects that are thoughtfully and strategically planned that students experience collaboration and thereby learn how to contribute to a team effectively. Consequently, only face-to-face, well, not only face-to-face, but face-to-face, online, and blended courses that do not require group projects deny students of the opportunity to grow in this area. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Kelly, group work, group work, group work. Nobody likes group work. But you might be saying, group work, group work, group work. I hate group work. And I get it. I had a couple of bad experiences as an undergraduate with working in groups. So when I went to graduate school, I made sure that I was the group leader so that I could oversee the process and ensure that things get done. I know there's a young lady who didn't speak to me until we graduated. She still didn't speak to me if she saw me in the city streets because I reported her to my professor. We had to do a thematic unit for a social studies thematic unit for 5th grade, and I did all the work, and she showed up at my dorm the night before we were supposed to present and asked me what should she do. And so we got up there to present. We did what we had to do. And afterwards, I went to the professor and said, I did all this myself. She said, Kelly, I know. So that young lady did not get a grade in that on that project and had to take the course again and thereby didn't graduate. I know maybe I'm the bad guy, but it had been my second time of having to, carry the weight for somebody else. So I was like, oh no, not today. So I know how you feel about group work, and how sometimes you have those people who don't do their part and you have to carry the weight because you're more conscientious about your grade than they are. But with 16 years of experience teaching online and way more than that, how many years? Since 1994, I've been in the field of education. I have implemented group work with teachers as a curriculum facilitator. I've implemented group work with college students, face to face and online. And I can tell you some ways that you can ensure that the group experience is a positive experience. So let me share some of those tips with you. Oh, and let me go here. When my students create projects, I am amazed because I have had my students to create multimedia projects such as websites. They've created podcasts, webinars. They've created infographics. They've created manuals, hard copies such as manuals, directories, thematic units. I mean, I have them in every course. They work on something together. And so I'm not giving you these tips from something that I read in an article, but this is something that I know how to do and do well. So listen up. Here we go. Seven tips for assigning group projects. First of all, you want to provide a training module or an instructional video on the purpose and benefits of group work and how the project will help them master learning outcomes and soft skills. So for example, I have a video that I get off of YouTube that's about cooperative learning in higher education, and I have them to watch it and they hear testimonies from professors and from students about how much they enjoy cooperative learning and the benefits that it has. So I have a module that they go through at the beginning of the course so that they understand I'm not giving you this because I want you to teach yourself, but there are benefits to the cooperative learning / group work experience. Now, I am of the belief that group work should be a cooperative learning experience. You don't just take an assignment, divide it into 4 sections, and give each person a part. Okay? And I'm not going to go into great detail about that because that will be a post for another day. But you want to provide training. Something that we don't do often with college students is train them on what we expect of them before we expect it. You know, any other job, when you go on a job, you have on the job training, but you also have some type of training before. I remember when I worked at Hex, which eventually became Macy's, we had training, several days of training up in these offices on the top floor where we learned about how to use the cash register, and we learned how to, how to have good customer service before they put us on the floor. And then we had a partner with us on the floor that was helping us with the training. But yet we just throw out group work to college students and expect for them to have a positive experience. Please don't do that. Provide a training module. Number 2, ensure that every person in the group has a specific role, not just a portion of the project, but a role with responsibilities. I need you to outline specific details regarding the responsibilities of each role. So if there's a group leader or a project manager, you need to specify exactly what that person is supposed to do. What is that person's contribution to the group? If you're going to have a reporter in the group or a web designer in the group, or you have someone who's collating the whole project, you give them names for those roles and you specify what each role is to be. All right, number 3, request minutes from the reporter. Every group should have a secretary or a reporter. I like the word reporter better, or an administrative assistant who is responsible for sending minutes to you, the instructor of the course, about their weekly update on what's going on in terms of the completion of tasks, and who attends the live meetings. Now, I create a minutes document with the information that I want, and they just have to fill it in. And they also have a section where they have questions for me. They can put those questions there, and I get it every single week. Now, I am asking you, number 4, to require synchronous meetings to discuss, plan, and execute milestones within the project. I know you're saying I teach an asynchronous course, Kelly, we don't meet live. Let me tell you this. Students make time for what is valuable to them. I know that we're pushing, get your degree online, it's flexible, do it anytime. But if you can require them to do discussion boards and they have to post, on this day and respond to this many people by this day, then you can also give them the option of signing up for a group based upon the times that are convenient for them. So what I've done with my synchronous courses is I'll offer 5 different times that groups can meet. And once they sign up for that particular group, then they are expected to be present as a part of that group and to contribute live during that time for planning. Because without the collaboration piece, listening, the active listening piece, the compromising piece, they're really not getting the full experience of what they would go through in the workplace when they are a part of teams. All right, number 5, suggest baby steps that break the project into a whole, unless making the students do that on their own is a part of your assessment. So I always give them some ideas about, okay, this is where you're trying to go. Here are some milestones that you want to do. This is what you want to do first. Okay, come up with your dates. Break the project down into these small steps and come up with specific dates for doing, each one of those tasks, and other ways that I guide them. But you want to give them some baby steps as suggestions. Hold the group leader or project manager accountable for keeping you posted on any issues that arise so that you can provide support. So I tell the group leader, if there's something going on and you don't let me know, then I can't support you. If someone's not doing their part, then I can't support you if you don't let me know. And then number 7, provide a sample of a project that was successfully completed by former students. So on my course shell, I will have samples of projects that other students have completed, because it's good for them to see that if they can do it, you can do it too. All right, so those are my 7 tips for you, and I am sure that if you implement these steps, if you implement these tips, you will find that your students excel at teamwork, and with consistent practice in all of their courses, they will pounce on the marketplace, having mastered the art of collaboration. Until the next time, I'll see you. Be blessed.